And Judge, I must express my candid appreciation for the inconvenience this must have caused trying to get you to come on Instagram Live. I truly appreciate this. Thank you so very much, Judge Srđan.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for invitation.
So let me just do a brief intro. So we are welcome, viewers. You're welcome to another Meet the Mediator series. And today, for the first time on the Synergy series, we have a judge. I'm super excited to have a judge here with us. So a brief insight into our guest for today. Yeah, his name is Judge Srđan Šimac. Judge Srđan Šimac is a judge and former president of the High Commercial Court of the Republic of Croatia. He is the president of the Croatian Mediation Association, mediation pioneer and co-founder of Court Mediation. He's a judge mediator and a mediator in domestic and international business disputes. He's an arbiter at the Permanent Arbitration Court at the Croatian Chamber of Commerce. He's a mediation trainer, CEDA accredited, lecturer, speaker, and mediation promoter nationally and internationally. In addition, he is the author of many articles on mediation. He's a member of GEMS, CEDA, JAMS. He was made a JAMS International Winston's Fellow in 2010. He's also a member of the mediation panels in Washington, London, CEDA and Prime Dispute, Vienna, Rome, Moscow, and Belgrade. He has been awarded the CEDA Award in 2012. He's a winner for ADR and Civil Justice Innovation, the Croatian Mediation Association Award 2013, and the Slovenian Association of Media Awards 2016. Judge Srđan lives mediation every day. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Judge Srđan Šimac. Thank you so very much, sir. Nice to have you here with us.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, and incidentally, we also have two directors of multi-door courthouses here in Nigeria. We have Mrs. Caroline Etuk here with us. So we're going to get right into this. So, Judge, please tell us about your journey into mediation. What sparked your interest in mediation?
How that happened, yeah. So,
yes, how did that happen?
You know, at the point I entered to the court, of course, I realized, and that is some kind of the biggest success in my life. And if I don't want to be humble, at that time I was thinking, I thought that I was born to be a judge, you know, and I do my best, or I did my best, and everything was going fine. And as much as I was good in my courtroom and in my performance, I've got a lot of hands tapped on my shoulders that go, young judge, forward. Everything is okay. But what I realized at some point, that no matter how I am excellent as a lawyer or as a judge in my courtroom, I saw the satisfaction with my work with my colleagues, lawyers and other judges, but not with my parties in my courtrooms, because they were not happy. Why was that? So it was a long time that I started to think about it. And the crucial point was my introduction to mediation at 2000 in Montreal, Canada. I was there with a group of 15 Croatian judges, and Canadian colleagues introduced us their achievements in judiciary. And one of the topic was mediation. Can you imagine my surprise? Judge talked to me about mediation, and I fell down from my chair. I was totally amazed and surprised, and I realized that there is something much better, much more suitable for the people, for the disputants, than the courtroom, which is pretty unpleasant environment for any kind of of humans and any kind of disputes. So,
interesting.
Yeah, so, maybe many judges do not talk about this, but from the first grade of the law school, we as a young students, we got one very important lesson. The justice and the law is not something the same. So it was so bothering me at that time, and I can say even today, now I understand what does it mean, but I'm not happy with that. So from the moment I entered to the mediation, it was actually 2003 when I got first basic mediation training. Whole my world was new world is opened and helped me and helped me become not just a better professional, better judge, but a better person, better human. And I realized that there is something wrong if we are acting in our courtrooms just as the roles in robes without expressing our humanity, So as a judge, I was a strict, formal, serious. I ruled, I made decisions, and I always decide about who is right and who is wrong. And we have always one winner and one loser, but usually most of them are losers. Why? Because they got my decision, not their decision, Courts are a very important part of any society, and people are there because they cannot help each other, and they are in a conflict, they are in dispute, and they fight to each other, and they try to find the help by the court to become some kind of force, state force, to make a peace among them. But you cannot get a peace or justice from anybody else than the other side in conflict or in dispute.
Interesting. True.
So I can rule by the law, but it is my decision, my vision, my idea what is justice for you, in this case, not your own. And when I realized that the most important people in the courtroom are not me and my colleague lawyers, but the parties, everything has changed for me.
Interesting.
People are disputants, are the only owners of their dispute. But we stole the conflict or dispute from them, trying to pretend that we know better what is the best for them instead of them. And disputants in any court settings, which is very ritualized and non-understandable for the people who don't know anything about the law, is very unpleasant, and psychologists teach us that the court environment is among the most unpleasant environment for any person. So the idea is how to improve the user's experience with the courts and with the judges and with lawyers, because we made them not as important as they are. because they don't understand us, because we are trying to find from them and ask from them only what is legally relevant. They are in a big problem with us. They don't understand us. They just obey. They fear us because they have enormous power over them. And I'm trying to decide and offer my solution for other people's problem. And until the moment when we start to change our roles, of course, it's not possible always, but you always have a lot of people in front of you in litigation, in courtrooms, who are in a long-term relation, you know. So if you have neighbors, if you have co-owners, family members, business partnership, if you have a friend, every time I decide about them by the law, that means the end of their relationships forever. So the idea of new approach, even for the judges and the courtrooms, I call it new roles of judges, is to help parties solve their problems, not just by the law and by court decision, you know. So the modern idea is give back the responsibility for disputes and to our hands and decide instead of them, but try to help them to have much more important role in trying to find the best solution for them.
Okay, Judge, thank you so much. I have so many questions to ask you, so I'm sorry I had to just break into this beautiful explanation of yours. Yeah, so Judge, now, how did you coin the word judge mediator? I've heard of attorney mediator, I've heard of mediation advocate. I have never heard of the word judge mediator. Can you please describe what it means and who fits into such category? Yes.
you know, I was somewhere in Europe at some conference, and it was a round table, and the moderator started to talk about the judges, mediators, and he said it is so strange that they are abnormal mediators. And when it was my turn to talk, I said, I'm Judge Srđan Šimac. I'm an abnormal mediator. So you know, it is always in our head. There is no bad and wrong, but it is the product of our minds. So
exactly, perception.
So there is no the best mediators, or judges cannot be mediators, or so.
Yes.
I believe there is something in it. You know, if you are a judge all of your life, you are trained, you have learned to approach to any case in a certain way, which is always through the law. And for many judges, can be very hard to distinct what is their role by the law and what they can do more, not using just the law. So when I say judge mediator, we have in Croatia mediation programs at courts. So my court is appeal court, and we have a very fine mediation program at appeal level. And it's a very good time to mediate. So when I mediate in the court, I am a judge mediator. Actually, I cannot mediate in my own case, you know. I can mediate in some other judge cases. And in that sense, I am acting only as a mediator, even they call me judge, you know. And we are not
True.
doing that in the courtroom. We are doing that in a special room. And we are acting pretty much the same as mediator outside of the courts. So we can say judges, mediators are those judges who can, to whom is allowed to mediate inside of the courts.
Interesting. Interesting.
And I believe that judges can be the best or the worst mediators. If they cannot change the head of the judge, they can be in a big problem in mediation.
In fact, Judge, this even brings me to the next question. And how do you cope, sir? How do you balance being a judge in a conventional court system that is adversarial with being a mediator and being an arbitrator and being a lawyer judge only on one head? How do you balance all of this? How they are like you know, there are so many extremes. How do you cope? I would like to know, Judge. Let me have your thoughts on this.
Yes, good question. And many people ask that. You know what I believe? We as humans, as me as a man, as a human, I'm not defined by my job. You know, I'm not a judge. I'm a human first, and then all my roles in my life: a husband, a father, a friend, a neighbor, a lawyer, son, and everything else. So we switch our roles every day, even without thinking about it. So you will see. You can meet a lot of judges and get to know them. They are all fine people, but somehow the most of us, when we enter in our courtrooms, we put some professional mask on our face and become someone else, become judges. And my idea is that I'm not defined by my role, my profession. I'm defined by my humanity. And there is no such a thing like strong differentiation between my roles. So when I'm a mediator, I put off from my face professional mask, and I am a Srđan Šimac person, a human. So I truly believe, and there is a movement in whole world to change roles, even in the courtroom for judges, and to show much more of empathy and the humanism and human side of us, because people in front of us do not feel comfortable. You know, we are the ones who is deciding about their destiny, and they have a very small role in their own cases. So we lawyers, we judges, trying to find the decision by the law about their destiny instead of them. So I believe that all of us have to be first humans and then professionals. That means two for the judges.
Interesting. So now, Judge, from your experience as a judge mediator, what in your opinion is responsible for most conflicts?
So the main reason for the conflicts is all of us are different, you know. All of us have different
orientation, mindset,
orientations, values, perception, and all of us think that we are right, that we are objective. What we see, that is the truth, you know. And when I'm talking about this, I believe in this. This is my truth. And if you make a question about that I'm not maybe right about what I'm talking, I will feel that you are attacking my way of seeing things and my identity. And I'm so, as a human, I'm so glad to be right. And most of us feel the same. And we are not aware that our feeling of being right is not a criterion for its accuracy. No. So the main reason of conflict is our fight, our competition about who is right and who is wrong, which is most of the time totally unproductive and useless, because all of us are subjectively right, you know. So it is so hard to find objective truth between people in a conflict. And even for me as a judge, they ask for me to objectively decide about their cases, but I am again subjective. You know, I cannot be a god to be objective, but I am subjectively decide about their case. So the main reason for many conflicts is great love of all people to be right in any possible moment.
Great. So, yeah. So now, would you say the courts are best suited for conflict resolution, based now on your experience as a judge this time, and not a judge mediator?
Yeah, it's a very good question. So, you know, I see the world of dispute resolution as a system with the more or many options. You know, you have dialogue, conversation, you have negotiation, you have arbitration, you have mediation, you have litigation, and you have a lot of other stuff to do. So my idea is, we as lawyers, we should start to offer to the disputants the solution which is the best for their case, for their personalities, for their conflict. So litigation is one of the valuable options, and it is here for a long time, but litigation and courts is not probably the best, not the only one, and not and should not be the first option, you know. So courts will be always for some parties and some cases, but for many it is not suitable, because the legal arena and legal procedure is not the procedure tailored to the needs of the modern citizens of 21st century.
Interesting. Now, Judge, what challenges have you faced as a judge mediator?
As a judge mediator, I'm happy because I'm lucky, because in Croatia I can be a judge, I can be mediator in my court, I can be mediator outside of my court, I can be arbitrator, I can be lecturer, I can write articles and books. So the biggest challenge for any mediator is how to bring parties to the table. So when they are in a conflict, they are totally imprisoned, embroiled in escalation of mutual disrespect, attacking, not trusting, blaming, and so on. So when people are in conflict, they have no problem until the moment they talk to each other. When they stop talking, stop communicating, they are in a big problem. At that moment, they are trying to find if it is important for them. They are trying to find help by lawyers, which we call doctors for disputes, you know. And actually, when they come to the lawyer, they do not ask lawyers first, please bring me to the litigation, to the court. But at that point, because they thought they did everything what is possible to find the solution, they think that there is no any other solution than to go to fight in courtroom. So because of their state in that moment, when they demonize each other and they became enemies, any kind of offering them to try a peaceful solution is so strange for them, and that moment they don't want to accept it, and they want to fight first, and they want from judges to tell the other side that he or she is wrong, without awareness that they can very easily lose time and money and case. Without that,
so Judge,
and that the court decision is without their control.
Okay then. Yeah, so Judge, we have a question from one of the listeners here, and it goes thus: does the fact that the parties know that the mediator is a judge, does it influence the process or parties in any way if they know that the mediator is a judge?
So definitely there is something in it, you know. Some people like that I am judge because they feel much more comfortable. So they think that I will take care much more about that. Everything will be according to law. Some people maybe don't like to deal with the judges, mediators, because they think they will rule, you know. And there is a big problems with some judges, especially in the United States. Yeah, actually, it is not a problem. It is a style. In the United States, probably more than 50% of mediators are former judges. And in United States, it's very popular to have evaluative mediation, you know. And their mediators or their lawyers ask for mediator to help them find the solution by the law. And I'm not such a kind of mediator. You cannot see that I'm a judge, and that the judge role is behind my role of the mediator, because I'm not acting as a judge in mediation. From my point of view, the role of mediator is to help parties to find their own solution, not to offer my solution to their problem, because they are only experts for their lives. They are only owners of their disputes. They only know what really happened between them, and they know the best, what is the best solution for them. I'm here as a mediator to help them communicate again, to reopen channels for listening, for exchange communication, to trust to each other again, and to replace confrontation with cooperation. And that is the way of coming on path of finding mutual solution in which all or both parties have interest.
Interesting. It's funny, Judge. I have so many questions to ask you, but I'm getting so many questions from the viewers, and as always, the questions always take preeminence over mine. So we have one interesting question, Judge, and it's almost putting you on the spot here, and it goes to us: with your years of wide experience, Judge Srđan, which seat do you prefer, being the judge or being the mediator?
Yeah, yes. Frankly, frankly, I think that the mediator is one or among a few roles in anybody's life or profession which is on the top of feeling of usefulness and helping and feel good, helping other people find their own solutions. So I prefer mediation, and this is a really big part of my life. And on the other side, I'm not just fighting for the mediation, but I'm fighting for improvement of performance of legal profession and judges. So there is a new movement in the United States called participative or procedural justice. What does it mean? So it came from the article of Professor Tom Tyler. The topic of the article is why people obey the law. And he found from research that people obey the law much more and court decisions and laws if all kind of authorities in the state show them respect. So what does it mean in the courtroom? So if judge call litigants by their names, if show respect, dignity, show empathy, willingness to help define the best solution for them, and to give them the voice to say not just what is legally relevant, but what is important for them. Each of them feel that everything is fair, and research show us that people are much more satisfied with relation coming from authority than with outcome coming from authority. If they feel everything is fair, they obey, they feel respected, and they give back respect to the law, to the judge, to the system, and they do not make appeal to the judge decision because everything was fair and they felt as real humans in the courtroom, not the one who is passive or invisible, but who is a very important part of the procedure.
Interesting. Now, I'm going to make reference to one of the private conversations we had, Judge, and with your permission, you made two profound statements that I would like you to shed more light on, and so that our viewers can learn. The first you said is that mediation is a way of life. And the second statement you made is like mediation is like light shining into darkness. Can you please shed more light on this for the benefit of our viewers? Thank you.
Oh, yes. So when I heard for the first time from mediation at 2000 in Montreal, Canada, I felt really enlightened. So it was like shine coming in a dark and heavy weather. So, you know, why mediation can be so nice. You know, we have to say that mediation is not panacea, you know. It is not a solution for all problems, for all people. And mediation is not here to replace anybody. courts, lawyers, or anybody else. Mediation is here just to provide one more choice to the disputants to choose, because if you can choose between or among more choices, you feel that you have more control of your life, of your destiny, of your dispute. And we have to provide them that possibility to choose, not just to impose them the only one solution and force them to accept it. So in mediation, they can choose a mediator. They can choose the time and the place where to mediate. In mediation, they have no the man or woman in power in front of them. They have a third trusted person. They have chosen to help them. You know, mediator has enormous power. We call it informal authority. You know, judge has formal authority, and mediator has a natural authority. Why? Because my authority as mediator is not coming from the law, but from the trust of the parties. And the trust is the first condition for the success in any mediation. So at the beginning, I, as a mediator, I'm the only one person to whom parties in conflict really trust. And I'm helping them to start talking, because they stopped talking for a long, long time. They were just fighting and competing over who is right and who is wrong. And I am I make possible for them to feel good in a safe environment in which I am not the one who is going to decide about their case, but who is going to help them find the solution. Because of the fact that I am not a decision maker as a mediator, parties are so open and free to start to exchange all information they have, and they hide that information in the courtroom. But in mediation, they start to freely exchange. You know, more information, better decision. More information, better settlement. And I motivate them to start to cooperate. And I start every mediation with some sentence like this. I would like to ask you, from this moment, this is not your problem. This is your mutual problem. And instead of attacking each other, please say yes to change behavior and start together attacking your mutual problem, not each other anymore. And that is the kind of the beginning of a totally different approach in which they feel respected, listened, heard, understood, appreciated. And in that environment, it is so easy to replace confrontation and destructive behavior by cooperation and constructive dialogue.
Interesting. Thank you so much, Judge. Judge, we're honored today to have one of the directors of the multi-door courthouse here in Nigeria, in the person of Mrs. Carolyn Etsokan. She has a question for you, and it goes to us that, Judge, when you have an extremely high level of hostility between the parties, what have you been able to do to get successful outcomes as a mediator?
As a mediator, yes. People, especially lawyers, you know, are so afraid about high conflict and hostility among parties. You know, what is the problem with our education? I mean, lawyers. They didn't teach us about conflicts and what does it mean, how it happens, and how we should deal with it. So any conflict is not the privilege of the mediator is because mediator is trusted person in between of two parties in conflict, and it is not my conflict, it is their conflict, and I'm not fear of their negative emotions because it is so natural to have them if you are acting in a conflict only the way it caused the conflict. But in mediation, we change all settings from the moment when I call them, when I write them, when I talk them, they feel from the other side calm person, trusted person, human, someone who is ready to help, who is not afraid of their emotions, positive or negative, you know. And when we start to talk about what they can expect in a mediation, I always tell them, please, this is the totally different procedure. So you have a conflict, you have a negative emotions, and that is very okay. It is natural that you feel like that. But we are going to do together everything in our power to help you go out of that negative emotions and negative state. And you will see at the beginning it will be kind of strange for you because you have a bad experience with the other side. You felt just attacked, that you are attacked, disappointment, loss of trust, and you don't even think that it's possible to talk with him again. So I tell them, please be calm. If somebody said on the other side something what do you not agree, if somebody raised the voice, please try to stay calm. If you not succeed to stay calm, I am here for you, and I will remind you that raising a voice is for both sides. It's not helpful. It is unproductive. And if it is too high, and it is very rarely, believe me, because of different settings in mediation, I can say, please, let's make a pause, 10 minutes, half an hour, to become calm, and then we will be back after 30 minutes. So, you know, in any conflict, when people raise the voice, when they become angry, they lose a connection with the rational part of the brain, and it is very natural state, and we need to understand that, not to use angriness hours of the other side and give them over the angriness of the other side, but to make a calm, make a pause, and give them a time to reestablish the connection with the rational part of the brain, and to be possible to make good decisions and good dialogue. It is just a short version of what I want to say on this topic.
Interesting, Judge. Interesting. Now, how do you see mediation advancing globally in the coming years, especially as many countries are gradually adjusting to the COVID-19 reality?
You know, I see mediation as a great tool or generator of change in dispute resolution world. So it is a topic of my Ph.D. On the other side, I see mediation as a great tool of saving the face of legal profession. So people are not happy with us because we are acting usually on traditional way, and we didn't change anything last 200 years, and it is right time to change something. And I see COVID situation like amazing opportunity, not only for us, but the whole world, and especially for the legal profession, to start with the changes we postponed for a long time. So we need to become user-friendly service. We need to become fast in offering our services and solving other people's problems. If we offer only the solution of litigation, which lasts 1, 2, 3, 5 years, what kind of value we are offering them with such a kind of service? I see myself, even as a judge, as a public servant, you know. Courts is a public service, and I'm not here to exercise the power of the state, which is usually not necessary, but I am trying that we become a place where people with the big life or business problems can find a help in finding the solution which they couldn't find by themselves. And we should offer them different options, yes? Not just rendering our decisions. So the COVID-19 may force us to use amazing opportunity of technical solutions, which is the one where we are right now. How it would be possible that we are going to talk to each other without this platform. And now we can exchange much more ideas, much more experience. And from my experience, I started to mediate even online. And very soon, most of the courts should start with the online hearings. Want we that or not, we cannot stop with our services. We should to adapt to make positive change and to adapt to the needs of the modern society. So the law is an amazing profession, and law which is not allowed to be adapted to the new realities could be huge barriers. And if people feel barriers dealing with us, they will step by step stopping using our services. And it is happening everywhere in the world. United States is the most obvious example. 98.2% of court cases is not solving by the court decision, but by the options outside of the court.
Interesting. Judge, it's been a beautiful, mind-blowing, insightful session. So on a very final note, Judge, before we call it a day, now we have a cross-section of lawyers, mediators, consumers, clients, and for want of a better word to use, observers here. So what advice do you have for anyone looking to grow globally in mediation?
So mediation is an amazing tool globally. Why? Because mediation is not bonded with the jurisdiction, you know, with the national law. So we can mediate with the people with different countries from all over the world, without be binding with any kind of national law. And the procedures in mediation is very simple and understandable, and we can use it wherever we are. So it is amazing tool to become more efficient, not just only for the disputants, but for ourselves as a profession. But my message to the lawyers, my colleagues, my dear colleagues, please do not count anymore that you can make success in law profession if you lean only on law and law skills and law knowledge. Today, the most important skills are non-legal skills: communication, negotiation, conflict management, mediation, listening. And we are so bad in listening. Listening is, especially lawyers, you know, and judges.
Especially lawyers.
Yes. So we are selective listeners. We are listening only what is legally relevant, you know. But
yeah, and with intention to respond. That's what we do.
Yes. And everything what is legally relevant is irrelevant for the people who don't know anything about the law. So from my experience, why I am so excited and so enthusiastic about this, because I felt that I won the biggest prize in my life when I allow mediation to come in my professional life. You know, it saved me definitely and make me better as a person and as a judge. So we need to combine all kind and different skills and knowledge from different disciplines and make together new kinds of services and offer parties more options and become good in every of it. And of course, never forget what we know the best, the law. It is very important for us, but the law is not the only option, not is the best option very often, and should not be the first option.
Thank you so much, Judge. Now, it's funny. Time is already fast spent, but Judge, I must ask this controversial question. I usually don't do this because we're already short for time, but I must ask this question. And there's a question by a lawyer, and it says, Judge Srđan, some schools of thought believe that lawyers are the problems of mediation. Do you agree with this perception or not? Judge, under 3 minutes, can we have your thoughts on that?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I would like
are lawyers the problems of mediation?
So, you know, I was very strict and formal judge, traditional one. And you wouldn't like me to see and to meet me in that time. So the only difference between me and you and the other colleagues, lawyers, is that we are exposed to the idea and practice mediation before them. I didn't find, believe me, I didn't find any lawyer, no much how he or she is a traditional, who is exposed to the mediation and that he or she said, this is a rubbish, this is not useful. Everybody are so excited about new approach they can use in their everyday work. You don't need to be mediators to apply mediators approaches. Mediators approaches are human skills apply on everyday work and life. So please, mediation is amazing new opportunity for the lawyers, because we need to do something right now without waiting for the new laws, for the government, for the world to change what we need to change. Because if we do not change ourselves and adapt us to the new realities, people will stop use us. So take this opportunity, try to learn new knowledge, new skills, and try to find mediation, and you will see American lawyers called ADR at the beginning alarming drop of revenues.
Exactly.
Do you know how they call it today, mediation?
No, tell me, Judge.
Happy client pay their bills. It is the time that we start to work not for unhappy but for happy parties, and they will pay your services. Unhappy parties do not pay your services.
They don't pay. What a powerful way to end this session, Judge Srđan. Thank you so very much for your time. Yeah, we've learned so much, and we hope in the not too distant future, if we invite you for another session, you gladly oblige us. And I also want to commend. Yes, it's been awesome, especially the back and forth trying to get this on Instagram as opposed to the Zoom you're familiar with. Thank you so very much. Really appreciate this. And I have a Vikram here. Vikram happens to be the first mediator I featured on Meet the Mediator Series. In fact, I keep telling everybody that cares to listen that Vikram is a mediator from India. And it's the reason why I keep doing this, because I approached him and I was saying to myself, oh, if Vikram should grant me this audience, then I'm going to have the confidence to reach out to mediators from all around the world. And so far, so good. It has been an excellent session. Thank you so much, Judge. Really, really appreciate it.
Thank you, Fola. It was my pleasure.
Yes.
I would like to say hello to everybody and good luck in everything, and keep on in your dreams to become a reality. Do not wait for others to change.
Thank you so much, Judge. Thank you so very much. Have a good one. Bye, Judge.